All right, Shalom. I'll let start up saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh. By Hashem Yahweh Shai. By Hashem Harakak Radash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostle of the great millstone, and double honors to my elder apostle as well, the Herawan Banya Charlotte down here in the Lions Den camp. Salutations to the Akhmal pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Kanak Sa'an Banya Charlotte from the Lions Den Yasharala camp. Well, this is another Lions Den news and prophecy. So you know how we started out. This is Second Ezra 15 and 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right. And I got a clip that I would like to play. Normally I just lead into the clip and then I do the, what I'm saying, the greeting afterwards. But this is, man, this is crazy because um the thing, man, we're only 12 days in. What, today's January? This is 9:45 in the morning. Uh, January 12th, 2026. We're in uh the 12th day of their new year. Which the new year is? It's not the new year of, what I'm saying, of the earth, but it's called a fiscal new year. Like in business terminology, this is the beginning of the year. All right. That's why they have the holidays set up the way they have it set up. And according to the military, the end of the year is in October. See that? So the new year starts in November uh, in the military. All right. But like business entities and for the stock market, the new year starts January 1st. But 12 days into their fiscal new year, you have a lot that's going on, man. Trump has really jumped out there and showing his horns, showing his agenda, and he's not half stepping at all about it. He's being very bold with his statement as he should be. All these things will be, you know, the more people get away with certain things, the more they tend to boast, you know, um, and he thinks that he's invincible, you know. And that's the spirit that the Lord said he was going to be in, having great wrath, you know. But this particular one right here is talking about the situation going on over in Iran with the protests, right? And there's a statement that was made by Nero 47 about he's putting a stop to uh how did he say it? He said restoration or peace or control with violence. Let me play it real quick. He's gonna say it, and after that I'm gonna pause it. This is on YouTube. I hope I don't get a strike on it. It's fair use, educational purposes only, fair use.
What a nice grouping this is. This is really nice. Look at this. It's going to be very rough in about 10 minutes, so we'll have to go a little bit quickly. They just said very, very rough.
You're on Iran. Have they crossed your red line yet to trigger a response?
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
Which options have you been briefed on? Are you meeting with senior
But why would I tell you that? I'm going to tell you
Are you meeting with your
Am I going to really, are you asking me to say what will they do, where will we attack, when, and at what angle will we attack from?
Are you
Who are you with?
I'm with the U.S. White House TV pool. I'm wondering, are you being briefed on...
What network are you with?
I'm with CNN, sir.
Well, why don't you just say I'm with CNN? She says I'm with the White House pool.
Yes.
And I say, what? You with CNN?
I'm with CNN,
You're
yes.
with fake news.
Around
Because
the-
CNN is fake news.
Around
Go ahead,
the-
give me a question.
Can I ask how you're balancing and how you're deciding your response, the balance between helping protesters versus hindering them? Because I imagine that's delicate balance.
Well, we're going to see. I mean, some of the protesters were killed through the stampeding. I mean, so many of them, and some were shot. We get a full report. I'm getting an hourly report, and we're going to make a determination.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right there. All right. So the point that I want to make is he said he said they are leaders that rule by violence. Slakia. Um. So with that being said, um, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Because how does Babylon rule? Got to talk in codes, you know. How does Babylon rule? Through violence, man. This place was established by violence, and he wants to talk about the unaliving of people. But look what they do on a regular, constant basis. Look what they did to those people that were on those boats, allegedly carrying drugs that were never found. See, there's no evidence of anything to justify the things that Babylon has been doing to us and the other nations. So they try to justify it through their. Oh, let me see. Because of their prosperities, that hold on. Because they like Psalms. They feel like they can't be touched. Like Trump, Neuro 47 said, we got to talk in codes because YouTube is full of shit. But anyway, but I mean, YouTube is the greatest. Please don't take this video down, or or freeze my page. But you know, he Neuro 47 is not thinking about what's going to happen in the latter end. He keeps saying that um, Babylon is the greatest, cannot be stopped. No one can stop this place. Um, Very arrogant, and proud, and not thinking that there's going to be a judgment behind the actions that are being taken on Earth right now. You know. So this is the thoughts. It says this is Psalms 49:13. It says their way is their folly. Yet he doesn't understand that his ways is his folly. It says their way is their folly, right? Yet their prosperity approves their saying, Selah. See that? So the way and their actions are their folly, but because of their prosperity, they approve their sayings and their ways. Because it doesn't seem to be folly to them, because we would think folly means foolish. Foolish things what you would get. You know what I'm saying? You can't prosper off of foolish things, but you can prosper for a moment being a fool, especially if you're a tyrant. So if you want to sit here and say that these individuals are ruling by violence, how does Babylon the Great rule? Exactly that same way. All right. It says, so now with that being said, you know, so he's going to reward evil for evil. It says Trump warns he's weighing very strong options against Iran over deadly uprising. So now look at this. You have what happened in Venezuela. Who's backing these individuals? Venezuela, Russia, and China. You have this situation in Iran. Who's backing Iran? Russia and China. So there goes another one. Uh, Trump dealing with Russian president. All right. Oh, the scripture that popped in my head that I wanted to get. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is it. This is it. So look at these small little countries, right? That man, the elder brought it out Saturday. Like it just looks like that the U.S. is being baited into something big. Like these actions, these little baits that are put out there that that they're jumping on is exposing them for what their true intentions are. See that? Let me get this real quick. Okay. All right. So now, yeah, I just seen another news clip come up saying situation with Colombia. Not Colombia. Well, Colombia is one of them. I did a lesson last week talking about the other nations that Nero 47 plans to come after. That since he was able to apprehend the president of Venezuela, and one of those was Iran, Colombia, Mexico, and Greenland. Um, so now what you have happening is these little small little countries like Venezuela, Iran, uh, Taiwan too, shit, are being thrown out there as bait. Like they're vulnerable, but they don't, you know what I'm saying? But you can clearly see they're being backed by, you know, powerhouse nations like Russia and China. But but um but Esau, because of this, and Esau doesn't think hold on, let me see, I gotta spell it right. Esau, because of this right here, is this it? Okay. In Psalms 10 and 5, it says, his ways are always grievous, thy judgment are far above out of his sight. Right. That's because, you know, and because of that, he cannot that's why his folly back to this. Where it say? Where it say? Where it say? It's Psalms 49 and 13. Again, it says, their folly, their way is their folly, yet their prosperity approve their sayings. Right. So because of their way is their folly, and because of their prosperity, they become lifted up. Like that's going into Habakkuk chapter 2, you know? So he's not able to see what's going to happen in the latter end because of his pride. It says Psalms 10 and 5, it says, his ways are grievous, thy judgments are far above out of his sight. You can't see him. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Why, he ain't gonna do nothing. All right, verse 6. He saith in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I never shall be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursings and deceit and fraud, and that's all they speak, speaking great things. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the village, in the secret places do he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor, right? But he's talking about them ruling by violence, but that's how only way that Babylon the Great, which is his place, rules. All right. So it says President Donald Trump warned he was considering very strong options against Iran in response to reports by human rights groups that the regime's violent crackdown on protests has killed hundreds, while revealing the country's leadership has reached out to negotiate. It says, speaking to reporters aboard the Air Force One late Sunday, the president indicated that Iran may be nearing a red line he has previously cited by killing protesters. Neither keep it at home. What about that woman that was killed by the ICE person? ICE, you know what I'm saying? He ain't paying attention to that. But he's focusing concern on that's just a plot to go in and do the same thing they did in Venezuela. They just need an excuse to make it seem like it's a diplomatic approach to push a whole totally different. They paint a different narrative than that does not reflect the agenda that they're really trying to push. You see that? It says, ask whether that threshold has been crossed. Trump replied, you know, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seems to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent. If you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. See that? That's a bold statement for him to make. Seeing what he just, if you hear him in an interview on the Air Force One after the situation happened with Maduro and his wife, how he kind of explained it a little bit. Like they unalived a lot of people to get to him to capture him. So how does this place rule? It says, but we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. And you know already what it's going to be. It said Trump went on to claim that Iran's leadership had reached out wanting to negotiate following his threats, adding that a meeting was being arranged, but he also suggested diplomacy could be overtaken by events, warning that we may have to act before a meeting. Mm. So they ain't trying to, hold on. What is that? It's a quote. What is it? Okay. All right. So basically, it was a quote. It was Tommy said it on the show Martin, right? Where he was where he was fighting Bushwick Bill and the midgets, right? The quote that he said, "Violence begots violence, which leads to the grave." Right. So there's some so-called force being applied on protesters in Iran, which would allegedly resulted into um, individual being unalive, and their response is going to be with more violence, which is going to lead to ultimately the destruction of humanity if there wasn't any divine intervention being able to, step in. And it's all being constructed and led together by Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. But, you know, in the mind of Esau, he feels like, you know, he can't be stopped. But check this out now. Look at all these things that's happening, right? So you got these little situations that are transpiring. You got Ukraine, you got Israel, you got Venezuela, Iran, um, Taiwan, all these small little countries, proxy countries, are looks like they're being used as bait to draw America out, man. And that's prophecy because that's how Yahweh Shema Shai said it's gonna happen. It's Jeremiah 50 and 45. It says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that had taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. It's talking about this place. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. See, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. See that? That least of the flock are these small proxy countries like Israel, for example, drawing Babylon into a major war. This is inevitable, man. This is being set up by our Creator, Yahweh Shimon Shai. You know that? But he spoke about, ruling with violence. And that's, who was he talking about? Let's go to here. Ruling with violence, okay? All right. This is Isaiah 14:4. It says, Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, How has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. One of the first things that Trump spoke about in his being elected for this term was this is the golden age of America, labeling it, coining it the golden city. All this is, man, so many prophecies that are unfolding right in front of our eyes. It's like a surreal moment that we're really witnessing Yahweh Shimon Shai moving furniture around, man. So we're taking up this parable against the king of Babylon. And so how is it going to cease? It says, the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, right? And that staff and scepter, the rulers, you're talking about Europe, like the EU, right? Those international central banks that finance everything, right? But that's the rule. That's the rules. But the staff and the scepter is Babylon, which is America. It says, "He who smote the people with wrath with a continual stroke." Wrath, isn't that violence? He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. See that? So, so you're around here trying to convince the people that you know that you're being diplomatic, trying to bring peace to the earth, and then you say you're going to bring peace through force. Isn't force violence? This is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their own hand." Like the elder said in his lesson, like he ain't go to Congress to make these moves that he's been making, especially with the situation with Maduro. So he feel like he has the power in his hand, so he's going to do what he wants. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. See that? Didn't they just do that? So now they're going to take control of the of the oil in Venezuela. But China said, no, you're not. It says, when they covet fields, take them by violence and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. See that? It said, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against this family. Do I select it? Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go halting for this time of evil. See that? So the Lord has a judgment for these people, man, that they ain't gonna be able to move from. It's like so you not. That's like having your head down in the guillotine, and you ain't gonna be able to move your neck from that. It's just gonna happen. The Lord says it's gonna happen, man. And we are in these times, man. We are in these times, man. All right. This is Second Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up against and fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's see that? We're having these wars and stuff going on right now. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. See that? They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. The anarchy, total anarchy. You're having that happen all over the world. What they fail to realize that eventually it's going to come here too. You see that? So for them For him to for Neuro 47 to speak about somebody ruling by violence, and that's how this place was established, and that's how this place has been ruling since existence. You know, so that's like the pot calling the kettle black, but the birth gonna get the heat. All right. Just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Lord willing, this lesson to edify and serve the purpose for the hope and elect, the ones who truly believe in the name Yahweh by Shem Shai. For that, I'd like to call Halayim La Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostle, the great millstone. Double honors to our elder apostle as well, the her one Bunyan Yashar, all down here in the lines in camp. Salutation to the Akim that are pushing the truth, to sincerity, truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh by Shem Shai. Shalom.